Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jimmy. So guys, it's been a while since I've done one of these here. What's going on, guys? I bet a lot of you are wondering what the heck I'm going to talk about. In case you didn't read the title of the video, I'm doing a summer video game here. In fact, it even has the word summer in the title itself. That game being RECCA, Summer Carnival 92. So, without further ado, let's jump into RECCA, shall we? So, I'm gonna throw up some gameplay for you guys, and you guys can watch it. It gets pretty intense. So let's play some gameplay, shall we? Holy cow. So yeah guys, what you just saw is RECCA. RECCA is one of those games that's, how can I put this? Nintendo hard. Now, I'm going to be saving that for the gameplay, what I mean by that. But in the meantime, let me give you a short, very condensed history on RECCA. So guys, RECCA. RECCA is actually a Japanese word meaning raging fire, which honestly is a perfect way to describe this game. Because let me tell you right now, this game is really goddamn difficult. Like, holy crap. So this game was released on July 17th, 1992. It was a part of a competition, which no photos anywhere, mind you. I can't seem to find a lot of information on that. But yeah, anyway, the game is a lot of fun. It has a very interesting history. It is actually developed by Kid of G.I. Joe fame on the Famicom. And as you guys may or may not know, Kid actually has some damn good games. They also produce some really good music as well in-house, which I'll get to in the next section. The game was published by Naxatsoft, out in Japan. Never made it here to the States or in the PAL regions, unfortunately, as a physical cartridge. The game did release worldwide on the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console, which, honestly, I highly recommend you do. Like, I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but I highly recommend you check out. And yeah, that's really it in terms of history for this game. Just know that this game, if you are going to look out for the Famicom cartridge, no, due to its very small run and just general obscurity, it is really pricey. It fetches a pretty high price, anywhere between $300 to $700 depending on the condition of the cart, which yeah is pretty steep for a cartridge game, honestly. At that point, yeah. But yeah guys, next up we will talk about the graphics. So how's this game look? How's this game sound? Oh man, let me take it all in. Look at them graphics. Look at them explosions. Oh man. So as you guys can see on screen, this game doesn't suffer from a lot of slowdown. It is very interesting. It's kind of rare for an NES game, especially of the shooter genre, the spaceship shooter genre. It doesn't suffer a lot of slowdown. I bet a lot of you guys are wondering, how did they do that? Well, let me tell you, my dear viewer. They got around the limitations of that by actually programming the explosions and some of the effects at 30 frames per second. The game itself runs at 60 frames per second, but some of the special effects and explosions run at 30 frames per second, which is why you'll know in some of my footage it looks a little janky. Some of the explosions is exactly for that reason. My capture card kind of has a bit of a problem capturing some of those effects, which is unfortunate because this game, if you play it, tell you right now, I'm gonna give you guys a seizure warning. You should probably put on some shades here real quick, cause it gets a little wild. I am dead serious. So this game is known for its soundtrack, its speed, and its graphics, and its gameplay too, which honestly is pretty supremo. So yeah, guys, graphics, as you can see on screen, look absolutely stellar. The sprite flickering that does happen on screen isn't actually too bad. As I mentioned, explosions and a lot of effects run at 30 frames per second. The game itself runs at 60 FPS, which honestly, for an NES game, and especially in this genre, is pretty much what you want. The sounds themselves are actually pretty badass. The explosion effects that you create by charging up a bomb looks so badass on screen. It is absolutely satisfying to let that rip. The music itself, let's take a sample of that music, shall we, guys? Oh yeah, guys. Oh yeah, listen to that music. So guys, the music was actually composed by Nobuyuki Chiyoda, which I'm pretty sure I butchered that guy's name. I'm so sorry, even though I'm pretty sure they're not watching this video. But yeah, guys, the music is absolutely solid. It is interesting to note that that programming trick that they used in this game is actually used in Contra as well for the NES or the Famicom to get around a lot of that slowdown. And yeah, without further ado, I guess we should kind of jump into gameplay, shall we? So, how does this game play? What are some of the mechanics in this game? So, when you first start off in this game, how can I put this? This game just kind of throws you into it. Like, I literally mean, this game literally throws you into it. As soon as you start off, enemies fly down on screen, just trying to jam in you, trying to fire at you, trying to completely wreck you. And it is not easy. And I absolutely mean it. Having that soundtrack blaring, though, you just start getting into a zone, you kind of zone everything out. All you get is just the light flashes on screen. You get in that zone, you play a little bit each time, you get a little better each time, get a little further. Maybe you might mess up here and there, but that's okay, guys. This game's all about practice. Get a little better, you get a little farther, you finally get to the final boss, you beat the game, and yeah, that's it. Or so you think. So guys, as you see on screen, you do have special power-ups that come on screen. Your ship itself actually starts off with a basic shot that shoots forward a bunch of little nail clippings that the ship fires, or I guess C's, lowercase c's if you want to go that route. There are special powers for the shots as well. The main gun actually does power up. You can get a laser, you can get a homing, you can get a giant blast that goes in a little V, which honestly you probably won't be using too much, but it does deal a fairly decent amount of damage. Honestly, the weapon you're probably going to end up using the most is either going to be the lasers themselves, because they pierce, and they're actually, once they're fully upgraded, they do semi-home as well. They have semi-homing capabilities. Or you're going to be using the H for homing. Hey, I see what you did there, kid. And yeah, once that's fully upgraded, it fires giant bubbles at your enemies, or giant plasma balls, I would imagine is what they're supposed to be, at your enemies that home in extremely well. The only problem with this upgrade is the fact that once you, it literally homes in on the closest enemy, and sometimes it's a little difficult when you're trying to avoid a certain enemy, and your shots are busy homing in on an enemy that's a little bit closer, and you're trying to get to one trying to shoot at one before it shoots at you. But hey guys, that's okay, because this game does have a secondary weapon. By holding down that other button on the fancy NES controller, you do have a secondary shot that you can collect by collecting these little red power-ups that show up on screen every once in a while. And honestly guys, I'm going to tell you right now, all you really need is the S power-up. What the S power-up does, it actually shoots the little cannons pivot in whatever direction the nearest enemy is at, and it shoots them down. This, not gonna lie, comes extremely handy when you're trying to power up your main cannon to fire a bomb. The reason you want to do that is because those bombs actually clear out shots on screen, and and they deal a spectacular amount of damage to bosses. And plus, I mean, that explosion on screen looks pretty goddamn badass, guys. Like, honestly, it looks badass. Look at that explosion. Let me put on my shades and let's look at a couple of choice explosions, shall we, my dear viewer? Whoa. Whoa. Now that is some explosion. God bless this country, guys. But yeah, guys, as stated, this game is very fast. Enemies will literally come at you from every direction. You will start having ember stages every once in a while, and yeah. Let's talk about the main thing about this game. And that's the fact that unlike a lot of Nintendo games, because this was meant for tournament play, this game will kick your ass. And I really mean that. So, a lot of games will ease you into it. The first level is literally an introductory level to show you how to play the game, what to do. You know, pretty much the basic mechanics of the game. This game literally throws that shit out the window and says, nope. Yeah, this game gives you no leeway in practice whatsoever. Plus 2, on the much later levels, once you die, it is almost impossible to recover once you lose your weapons. It is almost impossible to recover against those bosses because you will need your secondary shots to take care of a couple homing attacks, a couple homing missiles they can shoot down. Otherwise, it kind of becomes a war of attrition, of avoiding certain shots and charging your bomb at the right moment to let go at the boss. It becomes extremely difficult. Before I continue on, though, I should say that the bomb itself, whenever you do charge it, whenever it actually is charging, does block shots as well, so it definitely comes in handy to have a secondary weapon. As I mentioned, the S is pretty much the best one to go for just because it shoots the nearest enemy on screen. It's the best weapon to have on hand pretty much all the time. If you do manage, though, to beat this game, you do get an actual ending to the game. And honestly, considering what this game is meant to be, a lot of you are probably never going to reach that point unless you use save states. Next up is my thoughts on this game. So, being the kind of game that it is, as I mentioned, this is a game that a lot of you are probably never going to beat. And honestly, that's pretty cool. This game is definitely a really fun game to pick up and play in short spurts. That should be the way you play this game, just because of the difficulty in this game and the fact that each run is going to be wildly different from one another. And honestly, guys, I'm not going to recommend the cartridge of this game just because it's prohibitively expensive. But I will recommend the 3DS re-release that you can get on the 3DS eShop channel, or I guess eShop. And for a measly $5, 5 American dollars, you can pick it up and play it on the go. What's not to love about that? Just realize though that this game is difficult and you're probably never going to beat this game unless you save state your way through it. And I mean, honestly, you're in for a good time, you're in for some really good jams, as I mentioned. Just don't expect to beat this game. And with that, I mean, you could go the other route of doing it. I mean, that's kind of how I did it. Kind of have one of these little guys over here. I have them hacked. That's where I played them. And yeah, I honestly really do recommend this game, but I definitely do recommend buying this game for $5 on the 3DS eShop if you have a Nintendo 3DS. If you don't, there are other methods to playing this game. You can definitely play a repro cart, which, I mean, honestly, at that point, was just emulate the game itself. But yeah, guys, thank you for coming to this summertime carnival here. And remember, guys, to stay absolute radical, right, guys? Thanks for tuning into my channel, guys.